Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Kim Jacobs, host of The Kim Jacobs Show, where we're bringing balance to the world, one household at a time. Listen, we go live every weekday, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I bring guests on that talk about their backstories, things that they've had to overcome to become who they are today. Many of them are balancing and juggling life, and they've become experts in different fields. So they're sharing tips with you to make your life just a little bit easier. Many times as a guest in the studio audience, you'll get a chance to walk away with a missing piece of the puzzle that might be missing in your life. Let's go on this journey together, and I look forward to seeing you Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on The Kim Jacobs Show. You're watching Kim Jacobs Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kim Jacobs Show. I am so excited to have Dennis Spraggins here with me today. How are you, Dennis?
I am doing great. How about yourself, Kim Jacobs?
I'm doing great, Dennis. Now your mic, your ear pods are making noise when you're moving. It's like, but it's all. Yeah, it's just because it's making a bunch of noise when you're moving and stuff. But I can see you and I can hear you. And I think we're gonna have a great time. Listen, everybody, you all know this young man, Dennis Spraggins. He is right in our virtual studio audience every single day. And so he is faithfully, you could probably take your headphones off if you want to, because it's making a bunch of noise. But I can tell you that Dennis Spraggins is a faithful viewer of the Kim Jacobs Show. And I want to do stuff sometimes where we just pull a studio audience member out of the audience and let's learn about them, right?
Yes.
So we're going to learn about this man today, Dennis Spraggins. You all often see him. Actually, I'm going to pop you backstage, Dennis, for a second, but you all often see him hashtagging B1, which is Black-owned business owner. And so he gets the opportunity to put his hashtag many times over. And I also want to take a moment today to just acknowledge some of our episode sponsors. We have episode sponsors that support the Kim Jacobs Show and they invest in the Kim Jacobs Show. And I do want to share with you all ways to do that as well, and how you can officially be a part of our everyday programming on Monday through Friday. And that's at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So today our episode is sponsored. Let me just go through a few of our episode sponsors, which I'm excited about, because people don't have to take the time to be a part of your programming. And so I thank you, Silver Shield-Security.com, and Tone X, international comedian, is the face of Silver Shield. So you all can use Tone X for a special discount. And what I'm going to do is take a moment to go to a commercial break with Silver Shield Security, and then we're going to come back and you're going to get to hear from Dennis Spraggins, one of our faithful viewers here on the Kim Jacobs Show. All right, we'll be right back, everybody, and we'll come back with Dennis Spraggins.
I have peace of mind with Silver Shield Security, which has been protecting my family and home, along with servicing the Carolinas for over a decade. Silver Shield Security knows the importance of convenience and safety. Whether you live in an apartment, a home, or run a business, they are here to protect you from unwanted intrusions and fires. Call now at 704-440-4688 or visit the website at www.silvershield-security.com. You can use my promo code #ToneX and get 1/2 off your installation price. Don't forget to ask about the new no money down options. Let Silver Shield Security help to give you peace of mind, just like me and my family, and keep your business safe.
All right, everyone, and we're back, and today we're talking with Dennis Spraggins. I'm gonna pull you back in, okay, Dennis? All right, let's pull you back in now. Glad to see you today. Let me just tell people a little bit about you. You're a father, you're a son, a spiritual man, and a seeker of knowledge. and you really would love for people to stay connected with you on your Facebook page at Dennis Spraggins to embellish in your creative content that you share. So I am so glad to have you here today with us today as a poet and an author and a B1 Black business owner. All right. So I can see, I think he's having a little bit of technical difficulties, but guess what? We're going to work right through those and make sure that we get a chance to have our virtual studio audience member here with us today. So, Dennis, tell us a little bit about your backstory. Who are you? What do you do? What made you become who you are today?
All right, all right. Well, I was born in Chicago, Illinois, in Cabrini Green Projects. I was originally born in 1986, during the crack epidemic, which is very similar to the pandemic we have now today. With that being said, my father succumbed to the drug system that was widely oppressed on our people up in Chicago, Illinois in 1986. And after his downward spiral, he climbed back up and was able to get me and my siblings, my brother and sister, Timothy and Precious Spraggins, Timothy Jr. and Precious Spraggins at the time. And so with that being said, I've always started from the ground up. I've been through physical abuse, mental abuse, spiritual abuse, and verbal abuse. On top of that, I've experienced psychological abuse. With that being said, I utilized that negative incident to fuel a positive engine within my life once I became aware that
how to do it.
Yes, it
Yeah,
was hidden.
let me ask you a question, because you said now your dad kind of really went to extremes to keep you and your siblings together. Is that what you're saying, right? I think something's going on with your internet, but it's fine. I think I heard you say that, which I cannot wait to hear more about how that worked to be able to help you. I know you're coming back in, but I want to be able to ask you, Dennis, how did that work for you to be able to have your dad go to those measures to keep you and your siblings together? How do you think that that benefited you as you've gone in this journey of life? So I'm gonna pull you back in. Okay, sorry about that, Mackenzie. Go ahead.
Yes, well, it really influenced me how to have leadership, how to have determination, how to have respect, how to have self-love, so that could then be projected outwardly, how to be a man, within modern day society, although due to this complexion, we're a target, and understanding that, I utilize courage to push through my fears of just letting go and becoming complacent. It keeps my drive. It keeps my drive.
Good, good. And so when you say it keeps your drive, when did you know that there was some things that were happening in your life? Because sometimes when we're going through life, I know I grew up in the projects and I didn't look at life like it was like so humdrum or bad or anything. I felt like that was just my life. But it was some interesting circumstances and situations around the environment that I later found out about. And actually, you in the virtual studio audience too, if you can share too your philosophies from when you grew up and how that kind of helped determine and dictate some of who you are today. I know for me, this example of what's happening right here on the show today is an example of what's happened because of my upbringing and where I grew up. Because I grew up in the projects, because I grew up very low financial status and things, when it comes to dealing with other people that maybe from similar backgrounds or similar circumstances, I will go to extremes to try to help and to pull them to the forefront so that people get to know who they are and what their story consists of. Because God does not have respect of person. So he doesn't respect me just because of where I may be right now, more than he respects the person that's homeless standing on the side of the road. I don't believe that. I believe that God has no respect of person and that we should all go to great measures to try to help one another on this journey called life. And if you agree with me, put in the comments, Kim, I agree. And I think I must be a crybaby on my show. And I am really not even a crier. I don't even cry or anything like talking about it, but I cry a lot on the show. And it's like, Kim, get it together, get it together. But Dennis, when
Yes.
was that defining moment for you that there were some things that you needed to take hold to, as my grandma would say, that you had to take the reins and say, I'm going to steer my life in a different direction? Talk to us.
You know what? I've once learned that the most memorable years is between the age of 1 and 5. This is subconsciously. So between the age of 1 and 5, my mother was diagnosed with bipolar and schizophrenia. Unfortunately, plus it was the crack epidemic, so it was you know the drugs added to the friction within the household of everybody that was there or whatnot, pertaining to my father and my mother. With that
Right.
being said, through the physical abuse that I was subjected to at that time, I realized then, like, I'll be playing with some toys. I'll be up over here playing with some toys, and you know, my mother will give me a look, and I will already know it's time to go. It's time to go. So I say that to say this. It was gifts through her struggle.
It was gifts through her struggles. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to hear even more from Dennis Spraggins when I think he just has a few internet things going on. But guess what? I don't care how many times it takes for him
Yeah,
to be able to go out and come back in. It is something that I'm going to make sure happens for this hour. And I see you coming back in. And no matter how many times it takes, Dennis, just know that it's no frustration on my end at all. I am so
yeah,
honored to have you here today.
thank you.
I'm super
So
honored. So let's go. Go
so
ahead and
with
finish your
that being
point.
said, I realized it was gifts that even during the low income housing, the over congested area due to uh, due to the crack cocaine, due to the mental illness, all those in conjunction, she still taught me, you know, gifts, how to react faster, how to look at a person and read their face and like, okay, well, this is the type of person I would like to build with, or let me try it out. Let me speak to him. You know what I mean? So it helped me to be a natural extrovert, while giving
Right.
me gifts. That's like a sixth sense that a lot of people who's quote unquote had a normal lifestyle wouldn't have acquired. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I've learned a lot within my lifestyle. My hidden oppression started at birth for me. At the same time, like you said, at the projects, I thought it was just being, this is life.
This is just
You
life,
know, that
right?
yeah, until I got off my circumference, until I was able, through the works of my father and my mother, whether apart, together or apart, I've able to realize that life doesn't have to be that way. And
Right.
due to the pre-K to prison pipeline, we're actually ushered into prison like a congregation if we have bad examples, or
So right now, everybody, we're talking with Dennis Spraggins today. Dennis Spraggins, just so you know, is one of our faithful viewers. He's out every single day. He's in the virtual studio audience and he's supporting the Kim Jacobs show, tuning in, commenting from the audience. And I do want you to know, if you're ever interested in coming out of the audience yourself and coming on to share your story, then make sure that you know that you can do that. All you have to do is email kimjacobsshow@gmail.com and share your story with us, okay? Please make sure you do that, because here we go. It's Kim Jacobs Show at gmail.com, and that will give you a chance to share your story and why we should have you be a part of this program. Okay. All right, Dennis, let's pop him back in, Mackenzie. And we're bringing balance again to the world of one household at a time with Dennis Spraggins here today. So you were talking about basically we're talking just about the oppression piece, and you felt like did you feel like your environment and your upbringing and different things shaped the oppression that you were experiencing, or what? That's okay. You come back as soon as you can. And everybody, listen, I want to make sure too, do you feel that your environment played any factor in who you are today and who you have become so far? Even though in this journey of life, our environment, our circumstances and situations change daily. We don't even know sometimes what we can even expect, except for what we think it might be, but it may not be that way, regardless of where you're living. I know I've lived in a mansion and it was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Then there was a time I didn't have that mansion. And so there are different phases in life that we go through, and I call those different seasons. But God knows the seasons that we're going to be in. So Dennis, you're talking about kind of the seasons that you went through when you were feeling like you were oppressed. You want to talk more about that?
Yes. So subconsciously, through a lack of knowledge, what I come to realize is the pre-K to prison pipeline starts at birth. Through the scarcity situations, living conditions, that's extrinsic, an outside motivator,
right,
to fuel the negativity and toxicity within the community of the inner city. And it's not like that in the suburbs. Once I got a little older and broadened my horizons, I realized this is a systematic trap. I spent time in prison due to me being in the eye of my own destruction. I was angry and didn't know why. So I back in the past, I did negative things, such as being in the fast lane. Get out there trying to make money whatever way, without treading too many deep waters, and I realized I was straddling the fence. So with that being said, for the past 3 years, I've been homeless, searching for an apartment, but due to me having felonies on my record, and the eviction, it's been very complicated, very tough for me to get into a private owned apartment, even if it's a studio efficiency or one bedroom. So I'm utilizing resources, and starting from a solid foundation and working my way up from there.
And so,
I've always
Dennis, let me interrupt for a second. You're saying that for the past 3 years, because I don't have any scripted questions, so we're just talking here. You're saying for the past 3 years, you have been looking for housing. And so currently, right now, you're homeless?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm in a homeless shelter. And I'm grateful for it, and I'm working up from, temporary to permanent to possibly my own bedroom that I can have company in. So I'm grateful for the resources and everything.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so go ahead. You keep talking.
Okay, so this is what landed me here in my present life right now. My wife, my ex Kelly, and I just got a divorce a few years back. We was married for 12 years. I knew her for 14 years. We got two wonderful young men that's doing excellent in school and in the Marines right now. And so, due to me continue to go back and forth to prison,
Right.
like we kind of grew apart, and So now here I am picking up the pieces of my life slowly but surely. You know what I mean? And I just secured a job. You know, I am a Black owned.
That's okay. We're gonna hear the rest of this. So when you come back on, it is frozen, but when you come back on, we're gonna hear more. Today, everybody, listen, we're bringing balance to the world. Just being able to hear from someone else's side of the story about how they're balancing life. And it's not always that balance looks like it's such a pretty sight, because this gentleman that's our guest today is currently homeless, but yet he's still coming on the show, coming out of the studio audience, coming on the show and sharing publicly his journey and his story. Okay, so I'm going to bring him back in. Let's see. All right, go ahead, Dennis.
Okay, so now my goal is to work on one thing at a time and build my life back up. I even secured a grant, a local grant from a company called Neon North Economic Opportunity Network that works as a inner city group tank. You know what I mean? So my plan is to actually uh, start a additional business.
What type of
That is,
business do you have? What type of business do you
oh,
have?
yes, well, I own a business called Whip Appeal LLC that specializes in selling wholesale and retailer vehicles. So what I do is I actually started a home-based business. I go to the auction, purchase a car, fix her up, and sell her. You know what I mean? Sell the car. And since I've been funding my business 100% by myself. Besides the SBA, that I was able to get the EIDL loan, EIDL grant for 1,500. Other than that, I've been fueling that positive engine 100% by myself. So I had to add a service once my funds kind of got scarce on buying new vehicles. So I added a service which is doing hair. You know, I'm a braider. I retwist
You know how to
dreads.
braid hair, Dennis?
Yes, ma'am. Designs and all, irisons and all types of crazy
What?
designs. You know what I mean? With that being said, I know how to do sew-ins. You know what I mean? For women, I know how to do micros. You know, I know how to restart dreads. I know how to start dreads
Oh,
and
wow.
everything.
Now, where are you
So
located? Where are you located, Dennis?
Minnesota.
You're in
In Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay. My brother
Yes, ma'am.
actually played at the University of Minnesota. He played football there when he was younger. Yeah.
Amazing.
It was
Yeah.
cold, cold, cold in Minnesota.
Oh yeah.
Very cold
Oh
in
yeah. Oh,
Minnesota.
so, Whip Appeal LLC is actually, I just made it recession proof with incorporating the poetry, the pre-sales from the poetry. I have yet to construct the book in concrete form. You know, it's still in final copy form.
All right, listen, y'all. We are talking with Dennis Spraggins, one of our virtual studio audience members that come on faithfully and watch the show. But I never get a chance to meet some of the studio audience members. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to pull them from backstage and let them come and be on the show. So let's again welcome Dennis Spraggins. Hey, Dennis. Okay. So Whip Appeal LLC. And then you
Yes.
say you braid, you do all kinds of things. So you're using the gifts that you believe that are within your hands.
Yes, ma'am. So, with Whip Appeal LLC, you know, people up in the inner city like to buy whips at a good, discounted price, and
They
I'm
buy
able to
what?
do that.
Whips?
Yeah, cars, you know.
Oh, well, you gotta
Yeah.
you I was like, what? I don't want nobody buy no whip. That'd be done beat somebody. I thought you was talking about you gotta
And so,
okay,
so
Dennis, you cannot be using those slang terms. I do not
yeah,
know.
yeah, and people like to get their hair whipped up or hair done, and
Okay, I thought that
hairstyle.
was Slade. So see, you getting me so confused over
Right.
here. I'm
Yeah,
listening
that's
to you,
me.
Dennis. You got to be very clear. Like,
Yes.
So you said
Yes.
I actually thought about when you were talking about like, I whip my hair back and forth, but so that's probably now I'm on here by myself. I whip my hair back and forth. So Dennis will be back in a minute, everybody. But while he is gone, I am going to take a moment just to acknowledge another one of our episode sponsors. And I hope you guys are just enjoying today's episode, knowing that this is one of our virtual studio audience members who tunes into the show. I don't know Dennis, but he came on and I said, hey, let's pull you out of the studio audience today and let you come and be a part of the actual show. So, anyway, today's episode is also sponsored by attorney Charles Everidge with Hunter Everidge Law Firm. They're located in Charlotte, they're also in Alabama and multiple other states. So, definitely you want to reach out to them at their 704 377 9157 location, or you can also contact them at their Alabama. They have a Richmond location as well. But definitely reach out to them if you're dealing with disability, wrongful death of a loved one or family member, or workers' compensation claims. Definitely give them a call. But we're going to take a quick commercial break and hear from attorney Charles Everidge now. And we'll be right back with more from Dennis Spraggins, one of our studio audience members. We'll be right back.
I'm attorney Charles Everidge. I started out representing insurance companies until my father was seriously injured at work. 4 of his fingers were amputated. Our family went through a lot, so I know what you're going through as an injured worker. If you've been hurt on the job, call me now. I'll fight to get the workers' comp benefits you may deserve. I'll fight for you like family. Put my experience to work for you. Call 704-457-5000, the first call for injured workers.
The Kim Jacobs Show. We're talking with Dennis Spraggins. And Dennis, I will tell you while you're backstage, if for some reason you pop on and off like that, feel free if you're able to go somewhere else outside or wherever, may give you some more internet reception. I just wanted to give you that courtesy heads up too. But we're going to spend this whole hour together, no matter how many times it takes for us to pop in and out. And so while he's I think he's moving around back there, what I want to do is just talk to you all here in the studio audience for a moment and say, what was your background? What was your childhood like growing up? Tell us any of the things that I see. Vanita, you said here, let me pop that up. You said my daughter and I are trying to keep from being homeless. We have reached out to everyone that we can think of here in Florida, but we are being told that we have to be homeless first before anyone can help us. And I don't know, I can't speak on behalf of different agencies or anything, but I do find that to be most amazing that in order for you to be able to qualify for the funding, you have to prove that you've either been evicted or homeless or whatever the case before that can happen. And so I I don't know what the answer is for this kind of situation. I don't know in the state of Florida, but especially with Hurricane Ian and everything, I would continue, Vanita, just to check with every single resource and even picking the phone up, scheduling appointments, seeing who you can talk to, going down to your courthouse and seeing if they have some agencies right there housed within your courthouse that might be dealing with these type of situations. If there are programs, I know in Charlotte there's like the ramp program. I don't know in Florida which programs help with near homeless situations or crisis situations. But yeah, usually I know like you can call like 311 here in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's different places and they'll share resources with you. And there are different foundations, Vanita, as well, that will help depending upon maybe if your daughter, I don't know what you and your daughter's personal situation is, but there is a foundation out there for everything that helps with the crisis situations of those particular needs. So maybe trying to identify what would qualify you all for the funding for you and your daughter. That's what I could think of for that. Um, but there are foundations. Check with foundations for sure. That always helps. And someone said that's great. He's able to do all this while being homeless. Isn't this just absolutely unbelievable? Y'all, today we're talking with Dennis Spraggins, and he is one of our faithful viewers here on the Kim Jacobs Show. And I pulled him out of the studio audience. He asked, hey, can I come and be a part of the show itself? And I said, absolutely, 100%. I would be honored to have you. And so I'm grateful. Here you go. Let's go. Dennis, you're back there. Let's go. All right.
Yes.
So, Dennis, you talked about oppression. Now,
Yes.
you also talked about whips, meaning the cars and hair,
Yeah.
and now I got it, right? Now, talk to us, if you would, about your poetic side.
All right. All right. Well, I've been doing poetry since I was 28. I'm 36 now. And it, 28, the age of 28 was my spiritual awakening. And it kind of grew even more at the age of 30 for me. And it came to me in a poetic expression, you know, and I've been writing ever since and I haven't stopped.
Okay, so you have something you want to share with us, a little piece of poetry?
Sure, sure. I think this one will be proper for the show. This one here is called A Balance. I'm gracious to have found a point of homeostasis in a spacious world that's so contagious of its craziness. Being conscious, being mindful. Oh, you know what? I apologize. I
Oh
haven't
no,
been
guess what?
practicing.
You just you find that and share whatever piece you want already. I love it. I
Yes, I'm
love
about to
it.
do another one. I got one for you.
No, do any
I
that you want to do. The fact that you can flow like that and whip it like that is amazing. So it's a good thing. Do
Yes.
any of the ones you want to do. Okay.
Okay. This.
Oh wait. Oh, wait a minute. Screen broke. Okay. So listen, everybody. We are talking with Dennis Spraggins. He is popping in and out, but guess what? Hold on one second. My son is doing something. All right. All right. Go ahead, Dennis.
All right. Okay.
And you know what I'm so inspired by, Dennis, just so you know, while you're going and finding your locations throughout where you are, is the
Yeah.
fact that you're still smiling and you still have joy and gratitude in the midst of everything that you're going through and dealing with. And that's nothing but a blessing, in my opinion, and a gift from God to us here today watching. Because not everybody has that level of joy when just one little thing happens in our lives. Imagine when if you were homeless and still trying to come and be a part of a talk show and here representing and still smiling. Go ahead, Dennis.
All right. All right. Now this one here is called Homeless. I was walking down the street and a man said, "You don't look like the type of guy to be homeless." I kept on walking and the woman said, "You are way too fine to be homeless." I turned and replied, "Don't be blind. I'm homeless. It ain't no one's fault but mine. I'm homeless. I even held down a spot for some time, but I was homeless. I tried to fight it, dying to deny it, that I was homeless. Homelessness will bite you when you least expect it. For some, it's expected. It's usually when your rule of thumb is neglected. First off, I had to make sure a majority of my priorities were perfected in order to detest it. This was perplexing, but it proved highly effective. I have to own my own. In order to live on my own, I have to live on my own. No more codependency. I don't mean to laugh, but I could save up enough cash sufficient for us efficiency. And without a loan, that alone would be my contingency. My plan is started. Now it's time to get working. I could save my damage deposit by putting time in at a temp service. That's in 2 weeks, where I could pay rent off in one pay period. So no matter what, in a few weeks, this means I'm going to have somewhere to stay, period. And although it may take some time, I say all that to say this. Homelessness first starts with a state of mind. Thank you for listening.
Oh my gosh. So I think I just get broke down. Let me get my cloth. I get broke down so much on my own show. It's unbelievable. I think I'm the guest most of the time. Okay. Um, that was absolutely, if publishable is a word, I don't know if it is or not. But y'all in the comments section, just drop some hearts, some emojis, something. This man just tore it down like that on a poem called Homeless. You don't look like you're homeless. You're
Thank you.
too handsome to be homeless, right? According
Thank you.
to what your poem is saying. But who looks like homelessness? Who? Things happen in circumstances and situations that thrust us into areas of our lives that we never have maybe even anticipated or expected. To me, homelessness is if you don't have a house or somewhere to apartment or somewhere that is officially yours to go to, that a townhouse, a condo, somewhere that you can say at night you going in, and that's something that somewhat belongs to you. I don't care if you're renting it, leasing it, owning it, whatever. It's like where you go and you close your private doors to be able to have a good night's rest in your own space, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, that's what I think, but I don't know the real definition. I got to look up the real definition, but my eyes too blurred to be able to. The point
In,
is,
in the state of Minnesota, they say anyone who jumping from couch to couch is classified homeless. For me, I've actually been sleeping outside. I've been jumping from couch to couch, from family member to family member, until those resources been depleted, and even that is a part of hitting.
did you pop off again? Okay. Well, while Dennis is gone for a second here, I want to go to the definition of homeless. Homeless is a person without a home and therefore typically living even on the streets, is what this definition is on Oxford Language dictionaries. Okay. Wow. Well, I can definitely tell you too that I have experienced homelessness as well. So you can look at a person all you want on the exterior, and you don't have a clue sometimes what that person's story consists of, their backstory. And so Dennis is no less than I am as a person on this earth, and he's no less than you are. So we are all, by the grace of God, afforded various opportunities, and we also find ourselves in other circumstances too, some of which we bring on ourselves and some of which are thrust upon us. But at the end of the day, we're not better than anybody else. So I just hope that today's episode helps you all see that, please, if it doesn't help you see anything else. Dennis, okay. So we talked about oppression. We talked about your poetic side and how you've gone from being, how you currently are in a state of homelessness right now. But let's talk about your father side.
All right. Okay, so this is, I really hold this one dearly to my heart. I'm an excellent father. Although I'm dislocated at the time.
Is that you?
Say it again.
Is that you right there?
I can't see you.
Oh, you can't see the picture. It's a picture with a man with dreads and his son with the blue shirt and the gray tie.
Yes, that's me and my youngest son, Lavelle Spraggins.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, he's so handsome. Hey, Lavelle.
Yeah.
Put another picture up and you tell me about this right quick too. There's a kid in an incredible.
Yes, that's my oldest son, Brandon Cates. So I had a first.
Oh my gosh.
I wind up meeting his mother, Kelly, at the age of 22, I believe, and he was 3 years old. So was going on 3. So he's my first son. Then I have a firstborn. Yes.
Oh. What's the difference?
Biological. My first son, Brandon Cates, is and Kelly was already I've had the liberty of meeting an already made family and implementing or adding to the family, and it's beautiful. it's beautiful. So Brandon Cates, I met him at 2 going on 3. And so he's my first son. And then I have a firstborn. So this is how,
well,
yeah,
see,
this is
you're
how I don't pick
educating me
favorites.
today,
You know
Dennis.
what I mean? Like, yeah. So my goal with meeting both with having the liberty of raising both of having the liberty of helping to raise both of my little ones is my goal was to empower them and raise adults. That's key. That's so imperative that, see, through a lack of education, I thought I was supposed to raise children until I actually consciously broke that mental cognition of how I was trained or raised or taught, even in schooling, that we're supposed to raise kids. No, they're already kids. So I need to raise adults. So now they're ahead of their years. Although I'm dislocated right now at this point in time, my oldest son is in the Marines. He's doing immaculate. And my youngest son, he's in school. You know what I mean? He's doing immaculate. There, my youngest son, Lavelle, he loves to cook. He cooks like a 5-star cook,
Get out of here. So
from
these
scratch
pictures
and
when you're
everything.
real young. Let me pull up another picture. I have a few pictures. So you don't went back
Yeah.
in their childhood days. Let's see.
Yes.
Here's another picture. Somebody eating something gummy, a big red glob of something.
Yes, that's a gummy bear from the Mall of America. My youngest son is maxing my youngest son Lavelle Spraggins is maxing the gummy bear. He's rambunctious at heart, you know what I mean, but he's an intellectual out of this world.
And then I see a picture with the young man holding the other one around the neck. He has a blue shirt on and he's holding the older one around the neck.
Yes. Their mother had took them to Walt Disney, and they were just doing brother camaraderie bonding and everything. You know what I mean? They're very close. Their bond is unbreakable.
Wow. So now how many sons did you say you have? 2 or 3? Oh, shoot. Okay, dog. We'll get that answer as soon as we come back. Okay, listen, everybody. We're talking today with Dennis Spraggins. He's actually in the virtual studio audience every single day. This man faithfully from Minnesota. I don't know him. He faithfully tunes into the Kim Jacobs Show. And you see him commenting all the time. But today I brought him out of the studio audience. He asked if he could be a guest on the show. And I was like, most certainly you can be a guest on the show. And it's my honor, my privilege to have him here today. So we're going to take a commercial break. And then when we come back, we're going to hear more from Dennis Spraggins. I see him backstage. So we will be right back after this commercial break from Get Insured Solutions. And we'll be right back.
Nothing says I love you more than final expense insurance whole life protection. With funeral advocacy nationwide, saving you and your family 30 to 80% off funerals and cremations. Nothing says I love you more than Get Insured Solutions, LLC. GetInsured.Solutions. 704-499-3616.
All right, everybody, we're back and we're talking with Dennis Spraggins, one of our virtual studio audience members. And the part that he shared with us here today already is that he is currently living in a homeless shelter. So he does not have a home to go to. And I want to make sure that you all hear some more of his story. Okay, there we go, Dennis. All right. Keep talking to us. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. So, well, thank you. So, with that being said, my oldest son, right now lives in the Marines. He's doing wonderful. His name is Brandon Cates. He actually
make sure you do not put any other people in the shot because I don't have their. I'll remove it for a second. Only because I don't have their permission for them to be on the show, and it's a homeless shelter, so I don't want to do that without their consent. Okay. So give me a thumbs up when you're ready to come back in when you have just you in the shot. Okay. All right. I'll wait for your thumbs up. Once I see a thumbs up, then I'll bring you back on screen. All right. All right. Listen, everybody, I do want you to know if you are interested at all in investing in the Kim Jacobs Show and to help continue allow us to have this level of programming Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, make sure that you choose one of the ways to invest. And if you definitely want me to use any of those particular funds that you would invest to go even to situations like what Dennis Spraggins is going through, please send the Cash App and put for Dennis Spraggins or something, and I will make sure that he gets it from and say that it's from you. So please make sure that you know I do not take opportunities like this lightly to be able to help in the community. Okay. All right. Let me see. You ready, Dennis? All right. Let me pop you back in. All right. So we're talking with Dennis Spraggins, everybody. He is a poet, a father, and an author. All right. So you didn't tell us about your book. What book do you have?
Okay, so it's called A Conscious Food for Thought.
Where do people get it?
Say it again now.
Where do people get the book?
Well, I got it published, but I have yet to construct it in concrete form. So,
okay. I was wondering, I was like, why don't I have this book? Why don't I have a book?
Yes, ma'am. I'm editing it and everything. It's already done and everything. I'm just working on ironing out the details, making sure I ain't doing no copyright infringements or you know. Yeah. So once I get it constructed, I will send you out one immediately.
Please do, Dennis. I absolutely love your smile. I love your spirit. I'm asking God to just bless you to have a significant turnaround in your life so that the latter years for your life is just much better than whatever has happened up to this point. How can people, what other advice or tips or anything you want to share that you didn't get to share today? I'd love for you to be able to further share.
Sure. Well, my biggest thing is this. From the outside looking in, totally different from the inside looking out. So when speaking on hidden oppression, people may think like people go to the bottle to get some liquor or utilize drugs, you know, and perpetuate the cycle. But we on the bottom, we as civilians and whatnot, we don't perpetuate the cycle. It's actually hidden oppression recycled. It's a business, you know, and understanding that is a grand shift of view. Let me see. It's a grand shift of view, you know, to understand like, oh, once I get stressed out here in this area, it's actually by design to lead me back to this area. And it's a revolving door.
So the oppression is coming from within. Is that what you're saying?
No, ma'am. Our liberation is coming from within throughout the oppression, and it may come from a lack of knowledge. It may come from a area where we'll go and smoke or smoke some tobacco or drink, you know, to deal with the oppression that's hidden that we may not even understand. So once we understand that, oh, okay, this is by design, and if it's by design, it could be redesigned, then we could actually do something about it. Now that comes from within, you know. So this is why I'm strategically, properly planning and strategizing to do one thing at a time, to focus on the solution and not the problem.
Okay.
You know, I was born in 1986, January 1st. I would like to say for the supporters that I have many family members in Chicago, to stay strong. And it's the rebuilding period. It's time to rebuild.
Well, I can tell you what, when Dennis Spraggins is talking, he's dropping a lot of knowledge and information, and you all can definitely stay connected with him at Dennis Spraggins on Facebook. And then also, if you do Cash App anything to Kim Jacobs Inc., and you want it to be designated for Dennis or for Vanita or any of the people that are expressing situations with dealing with homelessness or close to homelessness, then please specify, and I will figure out how to get those funds to them. So let me see. Dennis, do you have Cash App too as well?
You know what? My Cash App is out actually, but I do have Zelle or Western Union.
Okay, so what I'll do is if anybody is watching and want to help with Dennis Spraggins' situation, and you never know, there may be somebody that's watching the Kim Jacobs show that says, you know what, I'm going to help you get out of this situation or this circumstance. And it may be then they may not be able to help you get fully out of the circumstance, but it can help you just to get some of the basic things and necessities that you need. I know I definitely will be sending you a Zelle today on behalf of the Kim Jacobs show. So that will happen. And so you'll
Thank
receive that today from us. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, and I didn't even know your story or your situation or anything. And so obviously this wasn't planned or anything like that. But I will, if somebody else is sending something as well, let me know and I'll be happy to get it over to Dennis Spraggins. So if you send a Cash App to Kim Jacobs Inc. and you want it to be want it designated for Dennis Spraggins, then please specify that because I know people Cash App just to support the program. And then sometimes there are people that want to support a specific cause. And I believe this is a very worthy cause and situation that we can rally behind and support. Okay. All right. So now we talked about you as an author with a book that's getting ready to come out soon. We talked about you as a poet. We talked about you as a father. And we talked about some overall hidden oppression. What do you what do you feel is going to get you to the next level of what God has for you in your life? So, what we're going to do, everyone, we're going to continue to encourage you to stay connected with Dennis Spraggins on Facebook. He does have Facebook. And also, today, I just believe wholeheartedly that I know I'm learning a lot from what he's shared when he's been able to be on. He is a homeless gentleman. He's been homeless for the past 3 years. He said he's obviously had some stints where he had to be incarcerated, but now as a business owner and looking to get his life to complete together, if that makes sense. And as a business owner, he does things pertaining to cars, where he helps get cars transformed and auctioned off. And then he also is the father of some handsome sons. All right, all right. Dennis, I see you back again. What else do you
Yes.
want to say today?
Well, I just want to say thank you for everything. You know, thank you for how should I say, thank you for the opportunity first and foremost. Thank you to all my supporters out there. Thank you to all my family out there. Um, and to everybody in Chicago that's going through tough times. Just know it's the rebuilding period, you know, and it's time to build up, you know. It's prime real estate out there, man. You know, I love y'all and stay strong.
Well, we are just, I'm telling you, you stay backstage today because I need to
Yes.
get your Zelle information. And before I get off, I'll see if anybody else sent any kind of Cash App. If you're sending a Cash App, go ahead and feel free to do that so I can get it over to Dennis. And I will do that as quickly as possible once I receive anything. If not, I'll send what we can send on behalf of the Kim Jacobs show. I also want to, let me see. Tomorrow we will have our Freestyle Friday. Freestyle Friday is happening, and we know that we're going to be having some of our experts. They're going to be talking about all manner of things, and we have some phenomenal experts that come here on the Kim Jacobs show. So you definitely don't want to miss Freestyle Friday. We have mental health experts, we have domestic violence experts, we have people that talk about physical health and well-being as well, and you name it, sunshine and how to just do everything that God has purpose for you. So make sure you tune in for that tomorrow. And I am also going, hey, Dennis, okay, say anything else you want to say then.
I believe that is all. I love, hey, much love out there. I greatly appreciate you, Miss Kim Jacobs.
Well, thank you so much for being my special guest today. I'm telling you, my cheeks hurt and burn because I feel like it has been a great experience with you. So I will see you, Dennis, backstage. I do want to take a moment today to say happy birthday to one of our team members, Shannon. Hello, Shannon. Happy birthday to you. We celebrate you today, and we are so excited to have you on our team. Many of you all only get to see about Mackenzie because she's working with me. That's me out here. Hey, happy birthday. So that many of you all only get to see about Mackenzie because she's the one that's helping me backstage a lot of the times. But you all don't get the opportunity to see some of our other teammates. So when it's their birthday, I like to be able to share with you that Shannon is one of our team members, and she helps with the flyers, and she helps with all of the graphic stuff that you see in that regard. And I wanted to just pop her up today as we celebrate Shannon's birthday. So thank you so much for being a valued member of the Kim Jacobs Show team. All right. I just wanted to make sure that you know that. And let me go ahead and say thank you all so much for tuning in today. I do see, Dennis, a lot of comments that came in. I think we have like 2 more minutes. So let's just look right quick at these comments and see. Oh, someone wanted to, oh, shoot. Dennis right now is actually at the homeless shelter. So that's why he is officially going in and out. And so just so you know, that's what's happening there. Dennis, someone had a question. I know you can hear me backstage. I'll pop you back in. All right. Someone asked the question, had you tried Section 8 at all for housing?
You know what? I'm actually in a resource program right now that's subsidized housing or low income. I am on a Section 8 housing list, but I haven't checked it in last year or so.
I can tell y'all this. I was helping a family member deal with some housing, and the list in the Charlotte area was like over 400 and something people on a waiting list. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is insanity. I mean, and that's because that's the need, and not because people are trying to prevent people from getting housing. They're trying to get the people in as quickly as possible. So it's no shade to the organizations that are trying to help people in this situation. I'm sure they're doing a fantastic job. But I'm just sharing with you all what happened when I was trying to help a family member of mine. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. That's like, and yeah, that could be somebody's whole lifetime. And that could actually be the case. And that's ridiculous. So Kim and Dennis, you're helping open eyes and hearts regarding homelessness in Jesus' name. Love your enemies said that. Wow. Thank you so much. Okay, so Love Your Enemies said that you are opening eyes to homelessness, Dennis, and been there, praying for one another is what a Facebook user said. You're an inspiration today, Dennis, Lily said, and thank you for your story. That was a great poem. Vanita said, wow, basically, and hand claps to you. Lots of comments came in. That's great, and he is doing it all while homeless. Wow, yeah. Okay, so I see all of your comments, and we thank you all so much for being an active studio audience. Happy birthday, Shannon, my mommy said to you as well. All right. Did I miss anything, Mackenzie? Let's see, stay connected. All right, then thank you so much, Dennis, for being there praying for one another. Yes. Thank you for being here today. You were an amazing guest. I know you had some internet issues, but guess what? Such is life. All of the major outlets and networks still also have some internet issues, so don't even worry about that. I've enjoyed our time together. It's been wonderful. Any closing comment?
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. All right, everybody. On that note, we'll see you tomorrow right here at 11 o'clock a.m. on the Kim Jacobs Show. Stay backstage, Dennis. All right. Have a great one. Hello, everyone. I'm Kim Jacobs, host of The Kim Jacobs Show, where we're bringing balance to the world one household at a time. Listen, we go live every weekday, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I bring guests on that talk about their backstories, things that they've had to overcome to become who they are today. Many of them are balancing and juggling life, and they've become experts in different fields. So they're sharing tips with you to make your life just a little bit easier. Many times as a guest in the studio audience, you'll get a chance to walk away with a missing piece of the puzzle that might be missing in your life. Let's go on this journey together, and I look forward to seeing you Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on The Kim Jacobs Show.